Hello, and welcome back to yet another Doctor Who Season 2 episode review, where today we've had Lux drop. Now, I just finished watching it, and here are my thoughts. This episode is definitely going to be slightly divisive amongst people. Um, what do I mean by that? Well, there's there's um there's a scene in this episode that I know is going to upset quite a few people. I still don't know how I feel about it. But let's start off this. So what happens in this episode? Well, it's basically the Doctor and Belinda versus another pantheon of the gods. Essentially, this one is the god of light, Mr. Ring-a-Ding, aka Lux. And how Lux came to be was going to basically 1950s theater, a cartoon of Mr. Ring-a-Ding. Moon bounces off a whole bunch of things and gives Mr. Ring-a-Ding life. And that life just so happens to be Lux. And so he kidnaps 15 people. The opening to this episode felt very Torchwood like. That was just the eerie feeling of panning around the cinema, waiting to see when Mr. Ring-a-Ding is going to appear, and when is he going to start to kidnap these people, and it felt very Torchwood like because Torchwood has dealt with something similar, and I think the Sarah Jane Adventures has also dealt with something like this. It's been a while since I've seen the Sarah Jane Adventures, but I know for a fact that Torchwood has dealt with this where it was a traveling circus that came to life and was stealing people's souls or their life force or something like that. So that's just the feeling that I got from the cold open for the episode. Um, then we pick back up where we last left off with not Ruby, the Doctor and Belinda, whilst they are, trying to figure out why they keep bouncing off of May the 24th, 2025. So the Doctor comes up with this thing, makes this thing that if he just lands a couple of times, he'll be able to make an anchor to that date and he'll be able to obviously then go. And so they land 3 months after the cold open, in the middle of the night in Miami, as I said, in 1952, and immediately notice some things. One of the things that gets mentioned is knowing the future for a historical person, because they make mention of someone who died from HIV, and Belinda's like, it's a shame that I can't prevent that from happening, or something along those lines. And of course, with both Belinda and the Doctor being a person of color, that does get mentioned a few times throughout this episode, and I think they handled that pretty well. It wasn't like straight like what it wasn't like in your face. It was just like, oh yeah, that this is definitely a thing. Going into this diner at night, this whites only diner, going into this cinema, a whites only cinema. And then of course we get introduced to Mr. Ring-a-Ding, and of course that's when we learn that he's a part of the Pantheon. And eventually the Doctor and Belinda become a cartoon, which they didn't spend being a cartoon for too long because I think the budget was stretched thin enough with Mr. Ring-a-Ding, and especially what happens at the end of the episode. But the Doctor and Belinda obviously go back to being normal. They try to break out of the film reel, and they ended up breaking the fourth wall. Literally, they literally pushed on glass. They came out to our world, our universe, and that's when they learned that they're in a TV series that people love to watch or hate watch. Like a lot of people do nowadays. And this is the bit that's going to annoy a lot of people. But then again, for me, thinking on it, I can't hate what they did here, because Supernatural did it already. Granted, Supernatural did it better than this. And in terms of it's actually not real, that they aren't real, that it's a creation by Mr. Ring-a-Ding, or Lux. and so they eventually come back. He's trying to pull the master from the TV movie by, instead of stealing the Doctor's regenerations, now he's going to use him as a source to make himself real, and that's where the rest of the budget goes, which is why we didn't see the Doctor and Belinda in the cartoons for very long. Eventually, they saved the day, and the 15 people came back, and then they disappear. So yeah, a lot of people, from what I'm seeing online, really like this episode. I think it's good. I definitely think it's good. I think I'll enjoy it a lot more on a rewatch whenever I do decide to rewatch this episode. But I'd say it's solid 7 out of 10. The same with last week's episode was a solid 7 out of 10. I'm looking forward to next week's episode to see what that one is, because obviously they left a lot of that very vague of what's going to happen. Hopefully by then I'll actually sound a lot better than I do right now, because I have a bit of the sniffs. Now, Belinda and the Doctor, they had, in order to become back to normal, they had a really nice heart to heart of, opening up to them. Belinda saying that she's, seeing the Doctor's world, she's afraid. And she also believes that that the Doctor will never be able to bring her home. And then, of course, the Doctor opens up about Gallifrey to Belinda. Another one of my nitpicks is more got to do with Murray Gold, and that is reusing music that he's already used and not coming up with anything new. That happened in the very beginning of the episode. We hear a twang of Amy's theme, and then when they're talking to the Whovians, the Sad Man in a Box plays. So yeah. I'm starting, like, not only with thinking Russell should step down. I'm also thinking Murray Gold should step down, because he's not really he's constantly reusing a lot of his music that I'm noticing, and it's not just me. Everyone's noticing it. But aside from that, I thought it was a very good episode. It's definitely good character growth for the Doctor and Belinda to get closer. I'm definitely starting to like her a lot more after this episode. And so I can't wait to see what the next 6 episodes hold. And of course, again, we have our Miss Flood cameo at the end. Mrs. Flood cameo at the end. She's becoming the new Susan Triad, or the Susan Twist, for this season for sure. But yeah, I liked it. So that is going to be it for this review. Let me know what you thought of the episode in the comments down below. And if you're not subscribed and that subscribe button just glowed, make sure to click subscribe, because I'll be back next Saturday for my review of Doctor Who until it's finished for this season. And then, of course, continuing on, because I am a massive Doctor Who fan, as you can tell by the Doctor Who action figures behind me there. And over there is my Star Trek and Doctor Who collection. So I even have a entire playlist where I've reviewed all of modern Doctor Who. I've reviewed Torchwood. I've reviewed a handful of classic Doctor Who as well. Might bring that back during the summer. But that is going to wrap this video up. Thank you all for watching. We're still in Trilogy Month. We only have one more week left of Trilogy Month, and that is The Karate Kid is going to be the final trilogy of this month. So thank you all for watching. I hope you enjoyed. And I'll catch you all on Monday for my next movie review, or I'll catch you back here on Saturday for yet another Doctor Who Season 2 review. I'll see you all next time.